everyone, and welcome to today's video. This is a continuation from my last one. It's actually done quite well for me personally. So I thought, well, look, let's go a little further into this and look at the research behind it, not just from the ads manager, the strategy from the ads manager, but the research behind it to make the creatives. Now, for full transparency, the tools that I'll be talking about, I'm not affiliated with. They're just tools that I use, either paid or free. So I just want to be transparent. You can watch the other video there. That's more on the ads manager. Hopefully that helps clarify that once you have a winning product and creative that's working. But this is to more talk about, well, what's the best way to make a great creative, right? And I use a methodical process that works for me. I just got a couple of orders to go away. Was that I'm not smart enough to, I'm not a creative mindset, right? I'm a very logical mindset. I follow things and then I look at trying to do things better, right? I'm not a creative person. I prefer to do business, marketing, and growth, right? That's sort of where I sit. Okay. I've done a lot of marketing and I prefer it, right? I'm not into the creative side. So for me, I use AI UGC tools. I use AI video editing tools, as well as I get my team to do it, right? But many of us don't have that. So it's important that we sort of discuss that. And we'll go through that as we go through this. So as I said, I'm a big advocate for not reinventing the wheel. At the end of the day, you'll find there's so many businesses that do similar marketing and they make plenty of money each, right? There's plenty of cash to go around, plenty of pie to go around to everyone, right? But the distinct thing is, if you know marketing and you can sort of reverse engineer what your competitors are doing, you can do what they're doing and then do it better, right? A lot of it really comes down to if people are selling very much the same product, like from a reseller, then all it really comes down to is your branding and your marketing, your messaging, right? So you got to think of that. But let's talk about this today. So I do my research or due diligence, right? When you're building a business, we're in the day and age where you can build businesses extremely quickly nowadays, which is fantastic. And that's only going to continue to ramp up. My tools that I'm building, my AI tools, I'm a store builder with my AI theme, my email SMS. I'm doing all of this because I just want to speed up and make it easier for myself, because I don't like doing technical work. I prefer to grow a business, right? And I think a lot of people watching this are the same. We're the type where we're marketers. We like growth. But a part of being a marketer is doing good research, right? So firstly, I've said that in the last video, I use Magic Brief. Now, I've got High Smile here. They're a large Australian brand. I'm pretty sure they're global. If we have a look here, you can look at insights, so you can connect ad accounts and look at insights. You can make briefs, and a brief is literally if you're running an agency or if you're like a freelancer with clients, whatever. It sends at the end of the day an agency of sort. And you can see here that they have, look at all of this, 76% videos, 23% images, and carousel. The carousel is probably remarketing as a guess, right? But carousel definitely doesn't do as well as you can see video, right? So if I was trying to take on High Smile, I'd be like, well, video is an obvious thing. You can look at hooks. Now this has a trial. It does cost $250 a month outside of the trial, so just keep that in mind. You can see they've got a very strong hook here. This thumbnail, yellow teeth. Who wants yellow teeth, right? So simple, yet so incredibly effective. You can even see, the hooks, and you can see that the main one is yellow, white, yellow, white, yellow, white, right? People want white teeth, not yellow, and so you can look at the ad copy to get inspiration and copy it as well, and even look at landing pages. A lot of these companies, will have custom landing pages, and then you got things like media mix. And again, you can see strong thing that if I was trying to sell their type of product, I'd be like, well, video. Obviously video and image, but you can see video is the key thing. Now, very important. Now, obviously, not all businesses are in here. You can add brands, right? So, if I wanted to add Nike, obviously they got Nike, but they don't always have all the businesses, okay? I don't know, their tool has to do a variety of things. I actually, for this video, added Soul Classics So if there's one that's not added, pardon me, Soul Classics. I couldn't find it here, so you can expand on it using which is this here. Same logo, yep. Add and follow, and if that's not there, you can see that, like, there we go. Okay, so I think it was another one that I added that, it has to do it, right? And again, can see, I think it's probably going to take a bit to populate. I actually have it here. No, that's a different one that I was looking at. But nonetheless, part of that is you can use this to look at it further, right? Facebook is kind of limited with that, and that's why this is really good. You can filter, you can do the various types of filters when it comes to looking at the types of brands. You can, I can't remember what that one does. But basically you can have a look at their ads and then sort of have a look further down as well. Now, so that's the brand that I tried to add that was a test. You can remove, and again, you can just do all this in a free trial. I'm just completely forgotten. So you can go newest, performance, and run. So what I want to do is I want to filter by their winners. I just completely blanked there. Active, we want to go live. Format, in this case, I would go video because what I'm seeing is video. And I always like to go, if you can go 3 months, because that means it's a really damn good creative. Obviously, I would just add this in anyway. You don't need theme. I don't really look at that. I'm just looking at the overall vibe, and you want to look at it, right? So this is where I go back to this. Use the Inspire tab, blah, 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 blah. Suggestion is to find a brand that is a huge brand and then use a polo. Okay, so I'm going to come back to Magic Brief in a second as a lookalike, and then you use these filters, right? So we want to look for the country, the technology, Shopify, modeling. So the best market, right? Because we want to model companies that are on Shopify in most cases, right? It's just what I do. It narrows the filter down. There's a lot of different marketing angles, but I just go with that. Revenue 1 to 5 mil. Now, I'm not affiliated with Apollo either. I actually pay for it. I use it for my brands. Honestly, it's just an amazing tool. I use it to reach out influencers. I can actually automate it. I scrape the internet and then I put it in a Google Sheet, import it into here. It goes into a sequence and it looks like it's a real person, all fully automated, all personalized. Just awesome. But so if you want something on that, I'm more than happy to discuss that. It's really cool stuff, honestly. I use it so I can reach out, and just saves me a heap of time, and it works extremely well. And then, revenue 1 to 5 mil. I mean, you can put whatever you want, right? But I put 1 to 5 mil because you don't want like the biggest company in the world. You want a smaller business that, 1 to 5 mil is at least, 100, 200 grand a month. That's damn good cash. And so my point is that because we're targeting US and Shopify, that's some good filters there too. That you want to target these businesses because they're established, they're successful, but also they're not that big that you couldn't take them on. Okay, so because once a company gets a certain size, like it's impossible for the small man to win, right? Like in 99.9% of cases. So I also add 11 to 50. Like a lot of people like. I don't know. I just put 11 to 50 as the sweet spot. So I just put a screenshot of what I've done there, and you can see all it is just from here. And what I do is I do a lookalike like the big company in that space. If you're targeting cosmetics, I don't know, go whatever one of the big cosmetic brands are. I just put top cosmetic brands. I'm always terrible at remembering it. Chanel, right? There we go. How obvious. And then you can put in that and it'll find you filters and it comes up with hundreds. But do you want to look at hundreds? Probably not, right? So then you want to look at your country, United States, employees 1 to 50, technologies, it's Shopify, and then revenue. I just put like 100 grand, or I put 100 grand to 5 mil. And you can go further, but this is 21 businesses where you can get an idea from. And you can also put in industry keywords as well. So, you can put in industries and keywords. So if you know a specific keyword and you want to narrow it down, as you can see, this has skateboarding, streetwear, depending on the type of niche. That's why I use this, right? This scrapes basically, they basically have a tool that scrapes the LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I think it is, or something. I don't know how they do it, but the that's basically it. And this has a free you can have a free account and you can do these and just use it as a filter, right? And just manually look at it. And what you can do is, like, I had to look at this one's not. And I was amazed. Like, it had this video, right? And we'll see it in a moment. It has Keanu Reeves. Didn't even know what the hell this was. Anyway, but it's like on Roku, so I'm assuming it's some quite successful. I mean, it's cool footwear, right? So. And that just came up by just doing that filter. And as I said, I would strongly to try and narrow it down a little further if you know the type of product. Because this isn't a product, research. This is more the creative side, okay? That's other videos. Go and watch that on YouTube if that. But I work on the basis that you know your niche, you know your product, right? What the key here is you shouldn't sell just anything. I think you should really sell something you're passionate about. And if that is streetwear, street shoes, whatever the hell that is, go for it, right? As you can see, there's so much opportunity. We don't worry about saturation. Obviously, it means something, but there's a reason there's all these businesses. It's because people like to buy from other businesses. Businesses will pop up like no tomorrow. That's always how it is, right? Don't get into the dropshipping mind of that, once with this product, it grows and dies. If you build around a brand, okay, you'll go through your peaks and troughs, but you'll survive. So I'm not working on the sort of trending dropshipping product. I mean, I work on trending branding products, right? That's just sort of how I work, that I just think so much better, because I've done dropshipping many times and it's I don't like it. In terms of, I don't like that it goes like this and then like that. I prefer something that's more steady. I want to have pay at the end of the day and enjoy my life. So as I said, like, I choose a chosen competitor. So I had a look at, like, I don't know, at this one. And as I said, you're going to get hit and misses here, right? That's why I use the keyword. I haven't done that, but like, you can get hit and misses. Some of them won't be running ads. A few of them before I was doing this, like that one, they're not running ads. That one, they weren't running ads. So you have to check in the ad library, right? So check in the ad library, see if they're running ads, and then try and see if you can get it into here so you can filter it down a little bit further, right? That's just sort of all I do. And again, we're doing a good amount of research. Now, the part that's really important from this, are they regularly running ads? Okay, so are they regularly running ads? The answer is yes, right? The filters say that they've got quite a few ads. And again, if we want to look at runtime under the last 7 days, okay, over the last 7 days, last 15 days. So they've just launched some ads in the last 15 days, right? So I'd say that's relatively relevant, right? And then watch 3 to 5 videos, right? So what I'm doing here, right? So this is a duplicate ad. So when I say 3 to 5 videos, I'm not saying of this exact same one. They're just doing some duplicates. Okay, whatever. You can even actually download them too. It's pretty neat. And so I don't know if they're, I don't know. I'd have to watch it all. But again, for the sake of this video, you go and watch it, right? But the things that you're looking for here, when I look at this, right, is one, get an idea of their marketing angle. Like, I don't have audio on, right? But, what music are they using? Sort of like, where are they focusing? So you can see men and women. You can see that this is very focused on sort of streetwear, people wearing hoodies and, just nice, comfortable wear. Basketball is a very big thing here. That's the core underlying part. And so what you're getting here is, what are they running like a trending TikTok? They're not really running that. They're running in mobile view. So you can definitely see mobile is very much focused there. Video is definitely it. So already, okay, it needs to be on mobile. It needs to be a video. What are the age of the people, right? So again, you can get this from the ad library, but I just prefer this just because I use the filters, right? That's all I'm getting at with this. Okay, so what is the age of this male? Okay, when I look at it, he's, I don't know, mid to late 20s, isn't he? Looks to be, right? So all I can derive from that, and if I look at a number of them, that guy looks like he's mid to late 20s at least, and this lady looks mid to late 20s to 30s, 25, 35, right? It's sort of that. So what I guess I'm getting at is, now we know the age as well. I didn't include that. Oh yes, I did, the age. So we know 25 to sort of 34. When you think about it in terms of ads, 25, 34. Okay, beautiful. It's not kids, is it? It's not young adults, 18 to 24. It's sort of a bit of an older demographic, 25, 34. So okay, beautiful. I know one thing. I know it's United States. I know they're on Shopify. I know they're 25, 34. I'd probably go 25, 44 in this case, because, that just sort of feels about right here. Don't be too narrow. And then I look at, the gender, the gender. Now, I look at most of these ads. They have a few women, right? But let's be honest, nearly all the presenters are men. Straight out the gate, right? You got a few, but like what looks to be like 80% men. So I know it's men over women. Now you could leave it open, but in this case, it just strongly feels like it's a male brand. And when you have a look at the branding as well, and have a look at the website, what you also, a little key tip, when you look at someone's website, look at their homepage. The products they're showing the most are the products that are selling the most. Okay, so if you see a lot of male models as opposed to female models, you'll know it's males. If it's female, if it's mixture, then you don't know if it's male or female for yours. If you see more like it's just obvious, right? So in this case, I'm seeing that most of the products and images feel men. So that sort of reiterates that I would focus on men. Obviously women as well, you can see that's why they have a collection. But anyway, I'm just trying to give you pointers, okay, as to how to make it creative, because you're really trying to ascertain and narrow down from the beginning so you get your creative right. Because the creative, if I, with this, right, one thing that's really obvious, you can see here these people are, 25, 30 to 35 range. Why would I get like a 60-year-old male promoting this product most of the time? I wouldn't, would I? I would get someone that's like 25, 30, because that relates. That's what marketing is, relatability. Okay. And so that's what you're looking for when I look at this. So I can see now that 25, 34-year-old men in the United States. Those are three major things that allow me to narrow down my ads. And I know brands that are similar to it, Nike. So I know my targeting. And so I already know my core pillars of targeting, right? And then at the same time, I also know, well, that's how this should be targeting. Like, would you get a New Zealandie to then be in the ads when you're trying to target Americans from the beginning? No, you would try and have an American tone, wouldn't you? And even down to like, different brands work with different people, but you can see that there's sort of a mixture of Caucasian and I hope this doesn't come off as offensive. I don't know the proper terminology, colored individuals. But I'm really bad when it comes to that stuff. I just don't remember the right appropriate words. But you get my point, right? What is the color of their skin? Right, certain brands relate to that as well. So you always want to think of that, because when you're making the creative, it makes a massive, massive difference, doesn't it? People relate to someone on those levels, right? And you have to, as a marketer, you have to think of those things. So now this helps you to determine. So we've determined things like all the way down to age, gender, location. We know the device with the 9x16 mobile. So we know all of that. So we know how to do our creatives. Boom. Okay. Then what you want to do is, I've already said that, pardon me. Then the headlines, right? So the cool with something like this as well is you can look literally at the hooks, and see, okay, what's up, Juice fam? There you go. Anyway, but you get my point. You can have a quick look at that and get an idea. And what I have done is you can go into ChatGPT, and you make like a custom GPT. You can do this in Claude or Anthropic. You can do it in most of them. Make like a little project one. I use ChatGPT for copy. I use Claude for code. That's just my experience. Anyway, and that. And what you want to do is put something like, you are a marketing professional in Facebook and Google ads in X niche. So, if I'm looking at this niche, I look at sort of streetwear, street shoes, or I'm very bad when it comes to these types of things. Like, anyway, you would know it better, right? So you get my point. Streetwear shoes, with over 15 years experience. Trust me, adding that in makes a big difference. And here are some copy examples. And I will get the copy from here. Boom, copy, copy, copy. And you can have up to 8,000 characters, for instance, in ChatGPT for a custom one. And there you go. It's got examples. And what you want to do is you've got your hooks, you've got your headlines, and then you got, which is your headlines here. You can see they're running a collection one. So I would add like 5, 6 of these, especially starting from the top. And then I would also get the ad copy as well. Okay. You can also add in the landing page, but that doesn't really help if I'm honest all that much. And make that. And there you go. You've got a little mini researched copy one based on a competitor, and then add in your own touch into the GPT. You know, what is your branding? What is your approach? And it'll help do that, because again, you don't want to copy, you just want to model. What we're doing here is modeling and using their data and a logical process to then make an amazing beginning to running ads that's highly likely to convert. And obviously you can use all of this for your website too, because the exact same thing, you'll want to set up your website in that sense, you know, color scheme, sort of, you know, just get a feel, right? And that's where the research comes in. What I normally do is I make like a doc and I just add all of that research in, right? You spend, again, any good business starts with a strong foundation of research, and research does take time. So that's why I'm trying to be as detailed about this. From here, I determine my marketing. So we've determined from this age, gender, location, placement. You can even, I can't remember. What one thing I haven't been able to find here, but when you go here on a, is it? I know it's the same rep. One thing that I use Facebook for is platforms, right? So look at the platforms. Are they, some people you will see are just narrowing down. So you can see here, they're just narrowing it down. They don't have threads for some, but for newer ones, they do, right? And that is likely because Threads has only been released recently. That's why all of those, they probably haven't updated that to actually include Threads. Some campaigns you can't actually do that, by the way. But anyway, just because of legacy related stuff with Facebook. So that's probably makes a lot of sense, because literally Threads was only released as a marketing placement last few weeks. But have a look. Some will only be targeting Instagram. Whoa, boom. There you go. You know that you should only target Instagram more, because if you can take out a whole placement, you know the marketing, creative, the angle and everything, then go from there. The other key thing, again, I didn't add in is, you know, the music. What is the music? What is the vibe? I haven't listened to these. What is the music? What is the vibe? You can get the vibe here. This is all streetwear. Basketball is a very strong theme, and people wearing hoodies and tracking pants. You know, they're wearing baggy clothes. That's what they like. They're comfortable. I like to wear that. They love to play basketball. They're sort of, you know, they love basketball, right? And so there's a very strong undertone, and so you can get that view. That's how you want to do that, right? Because, you know, if you get that view and you're trying to model it, why would you go with something like, oh, they're into tennis? That's not going to work, right? It's a very different marketing strategy. It would work, but you'd have to have a different type of branding, right? So your go-to marketing is different. Very important. You can use AI UGC tools like Creatify or HeyGen. I personally recommend actually getting the product. You can use Alibaba, AliExpress. Get a product, get some samples. Again, spend the time. If you want to build a real brand like these people, I guarantee this did not happen overnight for them. Whatever their story is, they worked hard for it. Don't discount that. And so you want to get samples and really try and make a video. Take your time. Building a business takes time. I know that we're in a day and age where AI, you can spin up a website and all of that really quick, but the fundamentals of building a business will always be there, that you have to know your product and usually have passion. I will always suggest having passion is the first and foremost important pillar of building a business, because then you will know that industry better than I ever would, right? So, you know, you get my point anyway. And then from there, you know, I get the creatives made. Like you can, as I said, use prompts. You can use then the actors and make that if you want to go down that path. Or if you get the product, you can then upload that as well and make it that way too. Or you can just get your phone and try and record it that way. You know, you can see, like, if I'm honest, if I look at this, I would go to a basketball court, you know. Don't have to worry about like, oh, they've got a fulfillment center. Who cares? People don't care about that. They want to care about authenticity. In a day and age of AI, authenticity is even more important than ever. So, you know, you just want to go with that. Like you can see they've recorded some there as well, and cool, good for them. You can use, I use Camtasia like what I'm using now. I'm not amazing at it. Or you can use CapCut, is a very popular one. I'm sure many of us already know CapCut. As I said, there's HeyGen and stuff, but they're a bit limited. CapCut is a bit more flexible when it comes to that. What I actually find is using HeyGen, and that is really, really good for generating the AI UGC, and then CapCut is really good for the editing and transitioning. As I said, I have my team sort of do that now, so I'm not going to get into the actual creative side. I'm teaching you about how to make the creative side. Go and watch on YouTube. There's so many videos on how to learn how to do editing and stuff. I recommend doing that. You can hire a freelancer on. I personally use Upwork over Fiverr. So you get my point. You want to make 3 versions, and the 3 versions can be just slightly different versions of the same thing. And the most important part, and I didn't even add that in, is look at the average length of the videos. So if you watch, you can see here, they're like 20 seconds, aren't they? So then the length of the video as well, right? So you now got the music, you got the vibe, you got everything. And so then you can make 3 variations of it. One might be 15 seconds, one might be 20 seconds, one might be 18 seconds. You go with that based on your research and gut, right? And then you go again, because I have to add it in with their interests. So we already know age, gender, location, placement, as in marketing, the marketing angle. We know, all those things. I've just gone absolutely blank. We know the ratio, 9:16, mobile. We've got ChatGPT set up to do our copy for us. There you go. That's probably about 90-95% of what you need to know. The only part here that's the other part is the creative, right? So if you learn how to do that, the rest of this, you spend a few hours. Like I literally spent before this like 30 minutes, and this is sort of what I come up with, right? And that was between writing all of this and trying to make it as coherent as possible. And go from there. You can even use tools like VO3, if I'm honest with you. Like there's Seed Dance and there's VO3 to make hyper-realistic videos. Have a look into them as well. Those are fantastic because I'm learning a lot about AI stuff as well all the time. It's fantastic. And you can use that to make hyper-realistic videos too. It's really cool. You can make a script. And as I said, with your custom GPT, you can also get it to make your scripts for you as well. Right? So that's what you're doing. You're building some assets on the back end to then build your marketing strategy. Okay, and so, pretty cool, isn't it? We've learned age, gender, location, placement, ratio. We know the music, we know the length, we have all of that, and we know that we can model this. And that is like most of the hard work done. The targeting doesn't need to be hard. Literally target Nike, right? Because as you can see here, like I've just used this and it came up with these businesses, Nike. Do the same on Facebook. Right? These platforms are not stupid, right? These platforms are incredibly intelligent. And so that's all of your ad set up. And now you've got the framework to build your ad, the copy, the everything. And so you just need to make the ad, and then the rest, in theory, just falls into place. If you build your store like them on Shopify, set up a theme. Obviously, I'm going to suggest the Debutify theme. I would do that because it saves me money and it's high converting, boosts my average order value, conversion rates, everything. And then on top of that, I would use my review app. I would also use my email SMS app. That's not out publicly yet, but use that. And boom, there you go. I've got abandoned cart recovery. I've got conversion rates, average order value, etc. So there's my store setup, right? Don't need to spend much time on that. The marketing is now where it is, right? Because no matter how good your store is, if your marketing angle isn't right and you haven't done your due diligence there, your store's not going to mean shit, right? So the point of why I'm getting into this is that this really does it. And then if you watch my other video, once you get sales and that, you watch that, and that's just how you optimize. You always optimize on a cost per purchase, whatever's getting the most cost per purchase, you can watch that. If you want more videos on that, like talking about scaling and how I scale, I don't really scale aggressively anymore. I actually try and work on a more referral anyway, but if you want me to teach more of that, let me know. But I hope this will be in the description down below. As I said, I'm not affiliated with any of these tools. This is all I just wanted to be transparent about it, just to give you the research, right? This is the key of what you need to know, right? And remember, above all of this, one thing I will say that I think is most important is you don't need any of this if you find a niche that you're passionate about. Okay, most businesses that do extremely well is because the founder or founders or whoever built it has an infatuation with whatever it is. And that comes through. People feel that. So remember, you can do all of this, and this is extremely helpful. And I would do it even if you are building a passion thing to know how you do your marketing creatives. But remember, first and foremost, try and build a business around something you're passionate about. You want to have fun building business for starters. Secondly, then use this, right? But don't just try and go out there and try and find the latest trending product. Try and find something that you personally love, right? I trust me, it sounds incredibly silly, but it will revolutionize things for you. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care and goodbye. And don't forget to subscribe. I forgot that part.